All right, before the weather sets in, we're gonna get a video of the difference between a 929a2 and a Mark 29. So basically, you got a 5-ton versus an MTVR series dump truck. As you can see, this one has upgraded sides and an AC kit. Those usually won't come on a 929. That is a factory AC kit for a 5-ton though. Excuse me. Anywho, factory 5-ton AC kit that was put on after the R-Red rebuild. This is about a 2009 R-Red rebuild, I believe. This is a 2002-ish MTVR. It was upgraded to the AMK package, so that was a armor ready, collapsible armor ready package. I think it's an AMK1. So did not come with the top roof. We procured a roof. We will procure doors, but basically this has the most upgraded suspension out of any MTVR series beside the Wrecker, but this does have the strongest spring suspension out of any MTVR series truck. Couple key notes. This has the 8.3 Cummins turbo diesel, makes about 230, 240 horsepower to the crank when it comes out. This has the C12 Caterpillar that has about 410 horsepower, give or take. Stock 355 410 multi-torque. I'll get into that into this video or the end of the, or another video. Anyway, so 355 to 410 horsepower, 240. However, with a couple light modifications, I think I've gained another 40 horsepower out of the 929 with just increasing the timing and the low boost fueling. I can't dyno say that for sure, but I know on my other 5-ton over there, you can see the distance, it definitely picked up at least 100 horsepower. Doing fuel rack adjustment, air cleaner, free-flowing exhaust. I kind of went through the turbo, cleaned up the turbo, but that's nothing to really go home about. And then just injection pump modifications and air modifications. These trucks, they need a lot more air than they're given from factory. This air cleaner system was built basically off of the NHC 250, 855 naturally aspirated Cummins. That was subpar for that engine, vastly subpar for any upgrades to this engine. This is your air box on a 929. As you can see, the filter is pretty small because it has to fit in here. This is your air box on an MTVR. As you can see, it's much larger compared to my hand. I think this runs a 6 or 7 inch intake stack. This runs a 5-inch intake stack. Exhaust on this is the same. I think it's a 5-inch exhaust. This I think is a 6-inch exhaust. There'll usually be a large resonator or muffler here and then a resonator on the top. We haven't put that on yet. When the armored floors are taken out of these, you'll see all these bolt holes are for the armored floors. When those are taken out, you cannot put, you basically have to take all the exhaust off to get the armored floors out. It's a pain. Couple keynotes between these two. Fiberglass hood, fiberglass fenders, aluminum steps, aluminum bumper. So this truck cuts weight where it can. This truck does not. This truck I think sits in around, I'm gonna say the wrong numbers, but it's okay. This truck I think sits in around 26,000 pounds as it sits. This truck with a regular cab on it, I think is about 28,000, give or take. Those numbers are wrong. I'll probably put better numbers up on the screen. This runs 1400 R20s, 49-inch tires. This runs 1600s. These are 53-inch tires. This is current issue US Marine Corps. These have been outdated for a while. All these have sold at auction that are going to be sold out of the military for the most part. Round headlights, square headlights. This runs a standard military headlight 24-volt system. The entire truck is 24 volts. Not a single 12-volt thing on here, except for the low-speed fan uses a 12-volt resistance to the 24-volt system to get a low-speed fan. But that's the only 12-volt on this truck. This truck, same thing, all 24-volt, except your cigarette lighter has a 12-volt circuit. That's the only thing that has 12-volt in this entire truck. This truck is fully mechanical. Transmission and engine can run with no electronics. This truck cannot. Has an ECM, has a TCM, has an ABS module, has a CTIS controller. This truck also has a CTIS controller. Not functional at all for anything but filling up your tires. This CTIS controller controls your lockers too. So if you lose your CTIS controller, you lose your lockers. So I'm working on a manual locker system to put in these trucks if those go out. These trucks, 65 top speed. These trucks also 65 top speed factory. These trucks struggled to get to 65 on the factory horsepower. 505 tune, which I flashed to these trucks, can get you up to 65 super easy, and it holds 65 on the highway, basically holding any grade empty. These trucks, once you're at 65, 70, if you know how to shift it, you can keep it above 55 on most grades if you have the horsepower upgrades. I've not driven one much stock because I was like, this is slow. I'm going to upgrade the horsepower. Anyway, this truck CTIS has been disabled, but usually there will be a counterweight here and a little cover that goes here. These are the factory CTIS covers. These are plastic, but they usually hold on pretty well. Big difference. This truck has planetaries and independent front suspension. Also, please don't mind this. This is usually hung up, but independent coil spring suspension all the way around with planetaries. This has 644s. I think this is about a 644 final drive ratio in the axles. This has a 644 straight axle, so you know everybody knows what's in these. Your little 8.3 liter, you can't see it, but anyway, basically has a P pump, injection pump. This dump bed is basically all mechanical. I'm pretty sure this is your dump bed gate lever for your dump bed back there. We'll get into the interior a little bit. So RAD rebuild. This is a customer truck, so I'm trying to get this video out before he picks it up. I did a lot of stuff to this truck, but anyway, you have your CTIS controller here. Pretty basic. This is the upgraded black one, but you have your 5 pressure settings. This is your automatic transmission, but it's a fully mechanical automatic transmission. This is your PTO. Big difference between this truck and that truck. Your PTO can't be switched on the fly, and it also your dump bed can't go up on the fly. This runs your standard M series gauges. I had to replace all those because the alternator went out. Factory red dot AC system, pretty nice. But yeah, basically throttle pedal, fuel tank selector. This thing runs dual fuel tanks, 6x6, light switch, filter minder. Basic as it gets. You have storage under the seat in here. And yeah. So this runs dual 55-gallon fuel tanks. That runs off of a selector right there under the cab. Those can be problematic. This is a rebuild truck. I was able to get that going again with just exercising it. There's only about 35 usable gallons I found in my truck. Sorry. These are rear CTIS covers. So these rear axles are, the tires are flipped versus the fronts. Standard old semi-truck stuff. These, all the tires go on the same way. So you'll see the fronts and the rears all matched. All the suspension systems are the same on the coil spring trucks, except for all the coil spring trucks, the suspensions are the same. This is your dump bed. Has an optional bed cover that got broken off before we got it. Here are your tie downs on the outside. Your 929, that's basically your only tie down. It's, not very good. Both of them have the wings. Here's the insert for his dump truck. Don't quite know how well that works. Both of them have spreader gates. I think his chains fell off, but he should have had spreader chains that would go into here. And then on this truck, your spreader chains are here, and they'll go slide into here. This is your pin to hold the wings. This tailgate will fold back up into a stowed position. This is just for off-road dumping. Tail lights on here are outboard. I'm missing that one. Tail lights on here are inboard. a little bit further tucked away. I'd probably feel safer with this setup. Looks a little bit goofier, but this setup seems to work well. Your tie down points on here are a little bit more plentiful. You got your two big D-rings, and then you got your shackle mounts. Big hinges back here. Your pintle hitch this is a 50-ton pintle hitch. I think this is a 20 or 30-ton pintle hitch. Definitely a lot more mass in the rear of an MTVR to tow. This has standard S-cams where that has wedges. These are easier to service, easier to get parts for. Any truck shop will be able to work on the brakes on this truck. Independent suspension parts. Basically, there's no wear items on here. I mean, technically, you could wear out your sway bar bushings and stuff like that, but you can get all that readily available. We're finding parts every day for these trucks. Again, you got drag links. This is your battery box on an MTVR, waist level, easy to get to. You got a main power off and on, slave cables right here. This is your 80 some odd gallon fuel tank. I think it's 81 gallon fuel tank. ABS module is tucked up under here. This one has a fault, so I was diagnosing that. Step to get in the bed. Your cargo or your cover lock will be here. Another step here. More parts of the cargo lock. Your hydraulic reservoir. This runs I'll bring the bed up in a minute. This runs a dual ram lift system, very similar to the other truck. All of your vent lines for all your axles and hubs go right here, where you see the red lines pop out at. So you can forward water basically up to here without any additional kits. There's your C12 right there. Let me turn the power on. So this is your operator station in an MTVR. A little bit more complicated, but really not that bad. Air pressure, primary and secondary, voltmeter, fuel gauge, speedometer, tach, trans temp, engine temp, oil pressure. Headlight switch, blackout switch, blackout select, blackout switch for basically these two are the same, but this one's for regular headlights, this one's for blackouts. CTIS off, dash dimmer, how light or how dim do you want your dash to be, wiper speed, and washer. This is your CTIS controller on a dump truck. Looks very similar to a very similar to a Mark 23, where you have your weights here and you have your pressures here. So basically, your terrain modes, they'll all change the pressure. So you can go to 2.5 to 4 ton in a highway setting, and that'll basically increase your pressure to what it should be. Whew. Over here we have engine high idle, engine brake hardness. This is your PTO engage. This is your winch in and out if it had a winch. This is your lockers. This is to engage. This is to disengage. This is your fan forward switch, plastic fan blades. If you're going to forward water, do that. You hit this and it'll flash your ABS light over here. It'll tell you what your ABS code is. This is a WTEC 4 transmission controller. So because I have no air pressure in my tanks, it's going to keep beeping, but basically this is your targeted gear or your highest selected gear, and this is your current gear. You'll hit mode to engage your PTO, and also that has to be on to engage your PTO for the dump. So I'll turn this on and I'll put the dump up. This is a non-factory dump switch, so it is cable operated still. So here on the 929, it uses ramps as a support system to get the bed in the air. Here on the Mark 29, it has a ramped, where is it? I think it's in this section. It's got a little ramp portion in here. Oh, wait, no, it's right up there. I'm sorry. That portion of the scissor is ramped to get more dump angle and more lift. These are your two lifts. Obviously, the 929 lifts higher, like steeper. This bed is bigger. This bed will probably lift way more because of the, you know, you trade off height for lifting power, obviously. But if somebody gets a protractor, that's the angle on the 929. That's the angle on the Mark 23. So you can see that red dot AC system a little bit better. Really don't want to catch power lines with these trucks. Mark 29 is taller overall with the headache rack. Probably about 2 feet. But yeah. It's just a little overview video of the Mark 29 versus the 929 A2. You got your coil springs, you can see. Air opening dump bed gate. No spare tire on this truck. Did just remember that. Your hydraulic reservoir on this is built into the subframe, so the subframe basically holds all your dump stuff. This truck does have a subframe, but less tall, and it uses the regular hydraulic system. But yeah, I'm gonna skedoodle on out of here before it starts downpouring. If you guys have any questions, obviously I'm not gonna have a 929 by the time I post this, but you guys can ask questions regardless. I'll see if I can answer them. I do have a 932 here I can answer. On this truck, I did the heavy duty dog bones on all of the rear dog bones. Greased everything. Did the upgraded zipper boots in the front. Added the horsepower. Did the secondary fuel tank. Fixed that. Replaced all his gauges. Replaced his alternator. There's a few other odds and ends things that I was able to help this customer out with. One day I'll fix that for him, but he's not too worried about cosmetics. But yeah, you can mess up your things pretty good. That's how far off the ground it is. I wear a size 12 shoe. I'm amazed that stuff's still staying in there. But this is my, what is that? My belt level. So a little bit harder. If you needed to go buy a dirt bike or a four-wheeler, you could totally winch a little four-wheeler up there and just put it in the bed. That'd be pretty funny. Yeah, subframe on this is taller than the subframe on this. Oh, all right, I'm gonna head out.